Hello there, I'm hoping you're doing well. This is another episode at Legally Right. My name is Purity Nabukaki.
And mine is Beatrice Mohende. Today we have a special guest, a campus mate, and also an advocate of many years. He's a constitutional lawyer. He's also a family law expert and an election expert. Today we'll be strictly speaking about election matters.
Thank you so much. My name is Charles Mwangi Ndegwa. As you've heard, I practice law in the name and style of Ndegwa and Ndegwa Associates. Our offices are in Canberra Road, Woodland Business Park. And we have dealt so much in respect to constitutional law, family law, election petitions, and the whole process beginning from the party primaries. And it's a pleasure to be here to speak to the viewers in regard to the election process. Thank you for having me.
Now, Wakili, karibu sana.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome to Legally Right. Now, as she has said, we will be speaking about elections matters. We will be going deeper. And as you've known, this is the year of 2022 where all of us, our eyes, we are waiting for August 9th. Of course, August 9th ndo wakati ambapo tunaenda kufanya uchaguzi. Kumbuka sisi sote tuko pale ndani na our politicians are campaigning for themselves. And as you know, here in Kenya, uchaguzi kidogo imekuwa na kizungumkuti kidogo. Every now and then kuna rabsha hapa na pale, but today we are here to remind our Kenyans, to remind the citizens the importance of voting or the elections. So we will just dive deep, and we'll start by Wakili. You can tell us, maybe the citizens have forgotten. When you go out there, you will hear maybe someone saying, oh, nipige kwa nini kura, kutakuwa na machafuko, ama nipige kwa nini kwa sababu zitaibiwa. Remind us the importance of voting.
It's very pertinent for every citizen of this country to ensure that come the 9th of August 2022, you cast your vote. Reason being, the Constitution gives the voter or a citizen the supreme power. Article 1 of the Constitution says that supreme power or sovereign power belongs to the people. That means everything that is done or ought to be done under this constitutional dispensation is done by the Kenyan person, is done by the citizen. What happens is that Article 1 further says that this power is exercised by citizens individually or through a delegated process. The delegated process is these institutions of government that we vote in or we elect on the election day. When you go to vote for the president or the member of parliament or the member of the county assembly, you are exercising your right to bequeath that person the right to represent you in whatever representation capacity. Equally, when you talk about the judiciary, they also exercise the power of judicial actions through the representation. They are exercising the people's power. Simply put, that's the reason why we ensure that we must cast our votes so that we exercise our sovereign power.
All right, Mr. Ndegwa. Many people right now have not taken votes. Is it too late?
Well, I think it's quite late in the day because the IEBC, the body that is responsible for conducting elections in this country, has already shut that door. Fortunately, is that most of them had actually taken out their voters card from the 6th of January to 6th of February. So that's why there was a lot of campaign from all quarters, the political divide, the civil society, that people to come out to ensure they have registered themselves as a voter. So that come the 9th of August, you must exercise your right to cast a vote in order to elect the person you think really has that capacity to represent you in those capacities of representation.
So, Wakili, just in summary, how are elections conducted here in Kenya?
Elections are conducted in two ways. There is the manual identification of voters register, and voting is also manually conducted. But when it comes to transmission of the election the results, it's done through electronically. That means that you will be identified using the KIMS. Your data will be identified using the KIMS kit. Equally, it will be counter-checked with the manual register. You'll be given 6 ballot papers, the president's ballot paper, the governor's ballot paper, senator, member of parliament, member of the county assembly, and the county member women rep. When you cast each vote, at the end of the day, what is going to happen thereafter is that the voter tallying will take place at each polling station. At each polling station, there is a tallying process. And each constituency becomes the tallying station for that constituency, for the presidency's elections, presidency's votes. From there, the president's votes from the main polling station in the constituency is then transmitted to the national level for purposes of now tallying the total votes for the presidency.
So are there, I believe in every place that you go, there are laws that govern something.
Correct.
So are there any laws that govern the electoral process?
A litany of them. a litany of laws. From the beginning, we have the Constitution, which is the supreme law. It enables all other written law to take effect through Parliament. The Constitution establishes all those offices that we go out to vote for. It equally establishes the body that conducts the election, which is the Independent Electoral Body Review Commission. And it also creates the political parties fund. Before the introduction of the political parties fund, parties used to conduct their nominations and their primaries individually. But with the new constitution, there is a Political Parties Act, which provides that there is going to be a registrar of political parties, who is the custodian for purpose of registering a political party and ensuring that each party has got members who are registered within that political party, and you cannot cross-cut. If you cross-cut from one party to another, then it becomes an electoral offense. That act, the Political Parties Act, also creates the Political Parties Fund, which fund is from the national kitty. It goes to ones running the nominations of a particular political party through to giving those names to the IEBC for purpose of an election. Before the primary, after the primaries, then we kick into the Election Act. That's now when the election is fully within the hands and control of the IEBC, which now becomes the parent act to conduct or to ensure that the process of election runs smoothly. The Election Act provides for the particular period of days that a nomination should be conducted. For example, in this coming election, we expect to see nominations being conducted by the 9th of April. By the 9th of April of this year, we need to have conducted our nominations. Equally, we will need to have conducted, or the political parties that are running in the election, they ought to have merged and formed coalitions for purposes of having the election in August 9th. After the election, we kick in with the Election Offences Act and the regulations that govern election petitions. So in respect to elections, there are a myriad, a litany of laws that govern that process.
Kidogo ningependa turudi tu nyuma, where you've talked about the election offenses. So maybe you can just tell us a number of the offenses, because I know there are a lot of them, a good number of them.
Yes. And
maybe you just explain just a little bit.
The most common offense, electoral offense in our democracy is voter bribery. That goes without saying. Where we have candidates conducting an election or running for an election, you find that they are bribing the voters for purposes of voting themselves in. That is an electoral offense. For it to be adjudicated as such or pronounced as an offense, you need to prove that there was an electoral offense by bringing witnesses, including images of the candidate bribing voters.
Mhm.
That is one of the offenses. The other offense is currently you cannot, as a person who is going to be running for an election, you cannot attend a fundraising. We have seen in the past aspirants attending church fundraising, harambes everywhere in various, but currently they are barred because the law says you cannot go for a fundraising 8 months to the election, and we are already 8 months to the election.
So they cannot do
They
that.
cannot go for fundraising and committees.
Yeah, on matters bribery, what is the penalty?
The penalty comes in at the point of an election petition, because normally what happens is that once an aspirant has been elected and there is an allegation that that election was marred with a lot of bribery, what follows is that a person who has participated in that election, or a Kenyan, can move to the High Court to challenge that election. At the point of challenging that election, the court has so many things that the court can do.
Yeah.
One, it can cancel the election of that person who has already won the election. Two, it can also give a fine sentence to the member of parliament or MCA who has lost the elections. And the court can also order that a criminal investigation do take place in respect to the bribery aspect, because bribery is not only an election offense, but it is equally a criminal offense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And going back to the nominations,
Yes.
is the IEBC participating actively in the nominations?
At the party primaries?
Yes.
Oh yes, it is nominating.
All right.
When we passed the constitution, the 2010 constitution, Article 91, it creates a political parties fund. And when it comes to the Election Act and the Political Parties Act, it also gives the particular elements and parameters on how those political parties are going to conduct their nominations.
Okay.
And one of the most amazing thing to see in these laws is that the political parties kitty is funded from the national coffers, Kenya, mimi na wewe. And when we fund the party primaries, it means the law also says the IEBC may, upon request by the particular political party, conduct that nomination. And obviously, you will agree with me that because political parties do not want to spend their money,
Yeah.
they shall conduct the nomination for the political parties. And it happened in 2017.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, when we go back to, we've done the nominations and now we are going to the main election process. Now, we find that there are normally representatives from every party. How are they, how can you say, limited to sticking to their lane? Because you find that many a times they are interfering in the election process.
You mean
the party's representatives
the party
during the election process?
Well, if I get your question correctly, that the election process from nomination is now handed over to the IEBC.
Exactly.
The IEBC is to oversee the whole electoral process. That does not preclude that a political party will not be represented in the election process. Each party has a right to nominate an agent.
Exactly.
In each polling station.
Yeah.
This agent carries the mandate and the right to oversee the votes for that political party. For example, in a polling station like Moi Primary, and all parties are represented, we expect an agent for UDA, we expect an agent for Jubilee, an agent for ODM, for purposes of ensuring and securing that the votes for that particular political party are not in any way lost or stolen.
True.
Yes.
So, Wakili, we've been talking about the IEBC. Who appoints them?
The IEBC is appointed by the president, and the president appoints them after a vigorous process has been conducted, and this process is conducted through vetting process. The vetting process is first conducted by a committee that is appointed again by the president, but with approval of the National Assembly.
So the president is the one who can also remove them there, or there is another process?
The removal process is another difficult process. Remember, a commissioner of an independent body or a commission is a constitutional office holder.
Mm-hmm.
This person, once appointed, can only be removed for grounds which amount to gross violation of the constitution,
Mhm.
or any written law, or any professional misconduct.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a process that is initiated by any Kenyan or any citizen through the National Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
So a citizen presents a petition to the National Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
This petition is a petition alluding or alleging the gross misconduct on the part of the commissioner. The petition, once presented to the Assembly, is approved through the departmental committees in the National Assembly, and that report is forwarded to the President. The President appoints another committee that now seeks to investigate whether those allegations are correct.
Mm-hmm.
The moment the committee now finds that that allegation has been approved or has been supported, then a report is given back to the President for purposes of now initiating the removal process.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point now, the commissioner ceases to hold office.
Okay.
Yes.
And who runs the day-to-day management of the IEBC?
The Secretariat. The Secretariat runs the day-to-day management of the IEBC.
Okay.
Yes.
And who chairs the Secretariat?
Currently, after the removal of the then Chiloba, I don't really remember who is.
I think at this moment it's without any parts.
I don't think that position has been filled,
Yeah.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, for now, I would love us to take a short break, and from there we will come back with more.